This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests are from an upcoming Old Creamery Theatre production. Say hi to Kristen Behrendt-DeGrazia.
Hi.
And Sean McCall.
Hi.
From the Old Creamery Theatre. And I'm specifically holding off on naming the production for a moment because as I was prepping for this today, I was thinking, it's a great and grand theater tradition that you don't say the name of Hamlet. That's regarded as bad luck. Actors call it the Scottish play. And I thought, really, we've kind of got a little bit of the same thing going here because as soon as we say the name of this musical, everyone listening or viewing will have an earworm of that song in their head for the next week.
It's unavoidable.
It's very unavoidable.
So, all right, well, the heck with it. That's your problem. It's Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. Yep.
It is.
And opening when?
We open Thursday, September 5th.
Okay.
And we're doing a 6-week run. 'Cause
Wow.
It's Mamma Mia. People love this show, and with good reason.
And tell me which characters you play in this. Kristen, you start.
I'm playing Donna Sheridan.
Okay, and Donna's the
She's
mom.
the mom.
Yeah.
Mom, the hotel owner. Yes.
And I'm playing Bill.
One of the dads.
One of the dad possibilities. Yep.
Yes.
Because Donna had a wild couple of months there back in the 70s.
I did. I was just trying to find myself. That's all.
She found 3 guys.
And found yeah.
I did.
And then that's kind of we sketched out the whole plot right there. Throw some ABBA songs in there.
Some
and
ABBA songs in, we're good to go.
And we're kind of done.
Yep.
So this is a big show generally when it's staged, Sean. So first off,
it's the biggest we've done at the Creamery
Yes.
since I've been around. And in fact, contractually, we must have a cast of 20, which, for some of the area theaters, that's not as big a deal. But as a professional theater where everyone is paid, 20, not only is it the cost of a cast of that size, but also even just merely dressing room space. Our theater really has dressing space for about 12. So people are dressing in offices, but they love it because it's Mamma Mia.
And for those who've been to the Old Creamery, the stage is intimate. So this is a pretty big production to
I think
size for your stage.
I think people will be wowed. This is just one of those shows everybody's had their heart and soul into. The set design, the lighting design, the costumes. I think people are gonna be impressed.
This is also one that many people have seen many times. Of course, there've been a couple of movies, and you, Kristen, you kind of get a follow in the shoes of Meryl Streep, which can't be easy.
It can't. I also played the witch in Into the Woods and
Oh,
Meryl Streep
okay.
played that, so I like to think she
There
and I
you
have
go.
a little bit of a connection. Yeah. I also love her. Yeah. The neat thing to for a lot of people who have maybe seen the show but probably not recently. They may have seen the show recently, but it's just now really being done regionally a lot. And the tour that I saw was the Broadway National Tour was Old Hampshire, so pre-2008 flood.
That's
I feel
the
like
same
it was
show I saw.
2004, 2005.
Yeah.
And I remember it, but then, of course, you've got the movies in your head so much since.
Which kind of overwrites
Right. But
the stage show.
Yes, and it really is very different in a lot of ways. But, and I just... the story, you think about the songs and the just the fun, which it is just such a celebratory show, just so much fun. But there's such a lot of heart to the story, which I feel like is really apparent in the stage version of it. The connection between the friends and kind of what it means to be a family, and then this sort of small village of people, the ensemble is so weaved throughout the whole thing, which in the movie, you hear the background vocals, but in the stage version, it's really like a Greek chorus. I mean, they're sort of omnipresent, and that's something I think that really is neat about the stage version. We have a killer ensemble. So.
As in the case in most cases, the stage show provides more opportunity to bring out characters.
Yeah.
And, and obviously in the movie, a lot of the character was the setting, and
Yes.
seeing the
It is.
the
It's gorgeous.
island
The real
and-
Greece is gorgeous.
yeah,
Yes.
it was gorgeous. So obviously that's something that was not a part of any stage show
Right.
going in. So it is that case. Sean, what else were you thinking about in bringing this show to the Creamery besides the physical fitting into the physical limitations?
Well, I did see it in London way back when, and I even talk about this in my program notes. And I just had so much fun. I had such a great time. It's one of those musicals that you can't help but leave humming and dancing. In fact, we're doing Saturday night dance parties in our courtyard right after Saturday night shows, because you can just dance right out into the courtyard. But as a regional theater, it was just super important that we got the rights to this 2 years ago, but we couldn't make the announcement because of the Circa 21 production. But that was fine because that's in our timeline of announcing last August that we were going to do it. But we've got such tremendous talent pool. I mean, Kristen's not going to tout her own horn, but it's like we have folks living in the area with Broadway credits. I mean, Kristen did national tours, but she lives in Iowa City now and is a mom, but still a talented professional member of Actors Equity Association. That to have people like her, or David Combs, or many of the local talented folks, and then to be able to bring in new young professionals that are on their way up and are so talented and are wanting to get their foot into joining the union and stuff. I mean, the cast that we have for this show, I think people are going to be just amazed.
What's the highlight? And I know you're really just kind of digging into it, but I'm not going to ask about the highlight. I'm going to start with, what was the thing that surprised each of you as you started to bear down into this? What was maybe different than you remembered it, or was a pleasant surprise as you're starting
I know
rehearsals?
my answer, because it really sort of was a pleasant surprise once I went back to the material, realizing how little I specifically have to do, and yet I get to be a part of such a great show. It's like Bill doesn't get his own song; he just gets a couple of lines of what's the name of the game, and he gets to have a lot of fun reactive stuff with Rosie and take a chance. But I've got a couple of scenes, but it's like I don't have to memorize nearly as much as I thought I did. and to get to sing Soup Up, Troop Up off stage, that's just a gift.
I don't know. How do you follow that, Kristen?
Oh, wow.
Well, you have to memorize you have to memorize quite a few lines.
The surprise for me was a little the opposite, because I knew, again, when you're thinking Mamma Mia, you're thinking the songs, and I have known for a while that I might get to be a part of it, or just that this was on the horizon for Creamery, and then you're singing the songs, you're singing them in your head, you're listening to the soundtrack, and there's not the biggest amount of script book material ever, but there are more scenes than, again, just you have the movie in your head, and when you actually look at the script, there is more to memorize.
Sorry.
More to it than you might think.
Sorry, Kristen.
And a fun surprise was that because of our, big for us cast, but maybe smaller for Mamma Mia numbers with 20, when we can, if we're not making a costume change, any of us that aren't on stage are also singing on those backstage vocals, which is kind of cool, because one of my favorite songs is The Name of the Game, which I don't get to sing, but now I get to be backstage and go do 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 do, and I just love it. It's a lot of fun to get to do that. And another surprise was when I looked at the script, I was like, "Where's my scene with Bill?" Because
She did say that the other day. It's like we really don't talk at all.
I have a reconnecting moment with Harry and with Sam, and it feels like I do kind of from the outside, because he certainly talks about me to Sophie. I mean, that relationship is discussed. It's just like, oh, we don't have our little song.
But we have nothing together.
Would have been. We've gotten to sing together before, so that would have been
just
fun.
talk around each other, but not to each other.
Yes.
Is it challenging to learn these songs that have been stuck in your head for so long from listening to the radio and albums and things like that, or is that not a big deal?
Well, I was talking about that with somebody else the other day, of when ABBA songs were really on the radio, which I think was the 70s, and so my high school years were 80s. It was Journey and Prince and REO Speedwagon and stuff. So I knew ABBA songs, but if I was a little bit older, then maybe that's what I would have been dancing to at my prom. Does that make sense? And so now Dancing Queen was already so iconic that it was used for different things. I think
Except, because I will say the one
Yeah.
thing that surprised me here is I think everyone in the cast has said, I didn't know that was actually the lyric. Because when you see it written
Yes.
out, because with Dancing Queen, I always thought it was take in the Dancing Queen. Like
Yes.
absorb her, but it's dig in the Dancing
I
Queen.
thought it was shoe papa, and it's soup papa.
Papa, true papa.
But that said, this show, once it became a show on Broadway, and I had already left New York by then, and I remember thinking, they're making a show with ABBA songs? Like, what the heck? But it just became such a phenomenal thing, and everyone I know, from grandma age people, mom gal friends, girls' night out, to like the theater kids right now, like the teenagers that are the real into it. Theater kids are so into Mamma Mia, and our children that I teach children in Iowa City, and they're all obsessed with Mamma Mia. So it's like the age span of the audience can be huge.
We were stunned when we did our school tour a few years ago, several years ago, maybe even before. Well, no, it was right after the movie had come out, because we forgot that the movie had just come out, but we incorporated a couple of like ABBA parodies, and the kids were like, oh my gosh, it's like little kids, and you're like, how do you know ABBA songs? And it's like,
Everybody does.
movie. Yeah, they
Everybody
do.
does. And this is the one that started it all. This is the production that started the
Yes.
the trend of, call them jukebox musicals, for want of a better
Yes.
term. But
I
this
think
is-
it-
and I
I
don't
think
think
it did.
anybody has done it as well.
Right.
This is, I mean, the music is so fun.
And some of the jukebox musicals don't even have as much of a sort of book as Mamma Mia does. This has that. It's really interesting, the structure of the show. There's kind of these real presentational, we're performing for you now, Super Trooper, like reliving our youth when we were the dynamos, and breaking the fourth wall, and the audience is the audience in that moment. But then there's really kind of the, especially in the second act, kind of the more classic musical drama structure of a song that's expressing an emotion, or forwarding the plot a bit. And it works surprisingly well with this existing music. I mean, you always know it's these ABBA songs, but I think a few of the songs do transport you to sort of more normal musical theater land for moments. And then it comes back to the,
Waterloo.
the Waterloo.
Comes back to Waterloo. It always
Comes
comes
back
back
to Waterloo.
Comes back to Waterloo. The show is Mamma Mia, and now you're going to be singing that song and humming it right up until the time you buy your tickets for
right.
the production, which opens September 5th
Yes.
and runs 6 full weeks.
Yes, October 13th, but don't put it off.
I'll
People
bet-
are going to be buying their tickets, and things are going to be selling out.
I'll bet tickets are going strong right now. If we want to get them, we can get them on the website, which is...
Absolutely. oldcreamery.com, where you can go in and actually choose your seats, where you want to sit online, or you can call our box office at 622-6262.
All right. Thanks very much for being here. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a great way to spend the fall.
We're having fun.
And
We are
Saturday
having fun.
night dance parties, too.
Absolutely.
Yes. And maybe we'll even keep our platform shoes on for that. We'll see.
We might. I don't know that we're going to want to scuff those
We might.
babies up
Yeah,
out
we'll
on
see.
the...
Or throw our backs out. But
oldcreamery.com if you'd like tickets to Mamma Mia, opening September 5th at the Old Creamery Theatre. You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most Thursdays and Fridays at 10:20, or watch the video podcast at the time of your choosing using your favorite podcast app, or at kcck.org/culture. I'm Dennis Green.